All right, so today we're reading Dr. Koo and the Pigeon Protest. It says, do pigeons plus people have to equal problems? Dr. Archibald Koo was a big city kind of pigeon. He was sophisticated, he knew how to get around, he knew how to land in just the right places. He had favorite perches in the city, the edges of beautiful buildings, he was friends with gargoyles, statues, heads were better than shoulders, park benches that offered a view. It's true that Dr. Ku would often look down his beak in a way that made him seem very serious, but he wasn't always. It's just that deep in his feathers, he was a curious sort. He observed the way of the world as he flew about it. Dr. Ku knew things, and he knew he had a problem, or rather, he could see that there was a problem with pigeons. One day, Dr. Ku was perched with his pals on a wire. There was Hooty Claw. He was a young pigeon with recently acquired flying feathers. Alongside Hooty perched Vern Birdman, a shy fellow in a light brown suit. In the pecking order, he was happy to be last. And then in flew Dove Blanchette. She prided herself on her shiny coat, which she kept spotlessly clean. I'm part turtle dove, she liked to tweet with her beak in the air. The conversation started out as it normally did. They cackled about the supply of corn kernels in the park. They nattered about the nearing of winter. They prattled about new perches. But then Hooty Claw dared to bring up something that they had been thinking for a very long time. We pigeons get no respect, he blurted. Those humans down there, Hooty pecked at the air to indicate the people below on the streets. They hate us. They shoo us away. There, cooed Vern, hoping hopping a little closer to Hooty and nudging him with his wing. Calm down. Calm down, hooted Hooty. No one appreciates us. I'm the voice of the next generation, Pigeon, and I'm not standing for it. Oh, yes, he was in a flap. I know what Hooty means, offered Dove softly. When people see a bluebird, they sigh and get dreamy eyed. Then they call them little fellows. If they hear a cardinal sing, well, that's even worse. You'd think they never heard a bird before. And it's the same with robins. They can't wait for them to arrive. But then, but we're just as beautiful. She shook raindrops from her glossy coat and held her little head up high. Vern twitched a bit, uncertain if he should say anything. But then he thought about the time a car almost ran him down, on purpose. He recalled the lady who swung her umbrella at him for no reason. Some people say we're rats with wings, he observed with a gentle sigh. At this point, Hooty Dove and Vern looked down at the line to Dr. Koo. It's the way of the modern world, said Dr. Koo. It used to be different. As the pigeons learned, as the pigeons leaned in, blinking with curiosity, Dr. Koo told them of the dreams he often had while he nestled with the gargoyles high up in the sky. Pigeons were once like angels, he said wistfully, summoning his visions of another time. They accompanied the gods in ancient worlds. They delivered news of the Olympic Games in ancient Greece. They were revered as signs of peace and love and wisdom and beauty. I've seen pigeons in important wars, Dr. Who continued dreamily, fearlessly flying into danger with notes dropped up to their backs. They delivered messages to soldiers in battle. They carried medicine across a battlefield strewn with injured men. They were heroes. I knew it, cried Hooty, hopping up and down in the wire. I knew we were special. Timidly, Vern piped up again. What should we do, Dr. Koo? We need a plan, cried Hooty. We need to be loved again, Dove sang. Dr. Koo turned his head one way and then the other. He hummed, he hooted, he pecked, and he pondered. Then he cooed his plans into the ears of his companions, and off they flew to spread the word to other pigeons in the city. The next morning, all the pigeons had disappeared. The squares were empty, so were park benches. On the edges of buildings, the gargoyles were lonely. It was eerie. The people in the city were the ones who were mattering now. What does this mean? They whispered worriedly to one another. Those who came to the parks with breadcrumbs and corn kernels were sad. They spread out their offerings on the pavement. They reached out their arms in friendship, but still no pigeons came. Nothing felt the same. The pigeons had been part of the life of the big, busy city, part of what filled the sky with mystery, with beauty, part of what made the parks come alive.